Was Job poetry or history?
I say both.
Someone told me that the book of Job was simply poetry. I have to disagree. One thing, other biblical books treat Job as a real person. Ezekiel 14:14 says, even if these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it. Noah and Daniel were historical figures, so to have Job in the same lineup makes me think that Job was a real person. James 5:11 talks about Job when he says, you have heard of the perseverance of Job. James uses Job as a moral example of real suffering and endurance. He doesn't mention him like a fictional character from a parable.
It doesn't prove history in modern academic terms.
Scripture shows Job as a man, not a metaphor. Job 1-2 and 42 are written in plain Hebrew prose. Historical facts, it's similar to the style in Genesis. Named fatherland, specific family structure, exact number of livestock, named friends from identifiable regions. This is typical for biblical storytelling.
Job's world would have looked a lot like Abraham's. He was a priest. There's no mention of the Mosaic Law, the temple, Israel. His wealth was measured in livestock, not coins. And there's an extraordinary lifespan implied. For him to have a whole nother set of a whole nother generation of family?
This means that Job would have fit so naturally in 2nd millennium BC, long before Israel was even a nation. Even ancient Jewish tradition treats Job as historical. That's why the Talmud debates over when Job lived, not whether he lived. A lot of proposals for that, they include maybe he lived during the time of Abraham, the time of Jacob, the time of Moses, or even the time of the judges. Usually people do not debate on when a person lived if they never lived at all. And God's response, him recompensating Job for everything he lost, it's just sounds real. Ancient people used to preserve truth with artistry, not stenography. That's the difference between modern history and ancient history. Modern history is more transcripts, and ancient history has more meaning. Like Exodus 15, Moses' song retelling his escape. Or Judges 5, when Deborah's song recounting a real battle that happened. Or Psalms. Lots of Psalms are songs about what actually happened in David's life. Poetry was the language of memory. It's so much easier to remember a poem than it is bullet points of something. And it preserves the emotions of Job's story. Pain wants a liar, not a ledger. If Job were only history, it would be heavy yet narrow. If Job were only